Today on air, Ike Fast.
Welcome to the German Property News. Also today, we will bring you the latest from the real estate business. First evaluations after the introduction of the child and building allowance are granted access by the administration. We will check for you if the high expectations were met and will follow discussion for you. Later on, we will have a look at Motzen, a small town close to Berlin, in which the German Property Group is following a promising project. But first of all, let's check the child and building allowance, which is accorded a high degree of significance in the coalition contract of the federal government when it comes to housing promotion. At the Housing Summit 2018, critical features for a legislative package were adopted by state governments, local authorities, construction and real estate industry, as well as by representatives of business associations and unions. One of the considered measures was a citizen program, which also offers the possibility of a grant by the federal KfW bank to owners with little assets, an allowance for the conveyance tax, an improved housing subsidy for building loans, or tax deductions for privately financed residential construction was subject to further negotiations. Mainly, the implementation of the child and building allowance in 2018 turned out to be relatively specific. With such, families with a household income of up to 75,000 euros may obtain a yearly granting of 1,200 euro annually for 10 years, especially at the beginning of the negotiations concerning the child and building allowance was under public criticism. The introduction of the measures would be too costly and would not be targeted. A recent survey by the authorities came to a different conclusion, though. Roughly 43,000 families were granted the allowance already this year. More than 112,000 families were applying and are willing to build their dream of an owned home by taking advantage of the child and construction allowance. The Department of the Interior now evaluated the cases in which applications were already granted. Following the German press agency, it shows that federal subsidies are, contrary to criticism, reaching families with low income and younger children. Allegations the allowance would target the wrong recipients brought by the opposition and associations were proven wrong. Also, the German Institute for Economic Research criticized that especially families who would build or buy property anyway would benefit by the allowance. The initial aim was to stimulate the construction of the new homes. Nonetheless, the child and construction allowance is contentious because of another aspect. The vast majority of applications are turned in for already existing property, not for new projects. Kai Warnecke, president of the Owners Association Haus and Grund, says the central part of the spending is done in already existing real estate. Thus, rather the acquisition of the owned property than the construction of new dwelling is sponsored. Klaus Desis, general manager of the Tenants Association, has a similar view. The main target, which is to fight the housing problem in the large cities, cannot be reached by such. The promotion is not providing for the much needed new housing. Consequently, experts are expecting real estate prices to rise even more than they did so far. In many cases, owners are adding the promotion to the retail price, says the Central Real Estate Committee at the beginning of the year. The child and the construction allowance is pretty much similar to the former home buyer allowance. A federal promotion of all in all 12,000 euro per child spread over 10 years is waiting upon acquisition of a property since last year. More children mean more money. The application has to be turned in at the KfW Funding Bank no earlier than September the 18th, 2018. Since the middle of May 2019, owners and buyers have half a year at the most to file the application. The government set a volume of 10 billion euros over 3 years. Let's now have a look at Motzen, close to Berlin, where the German Property Group plans a residential project with several single-family homes. Motzen has approximately 1,300 inhabitants and is part of the city of Mittenwalde in the region of Dahme-Spreewald and the southeastern part of Brandenburg. Surrounded by rivers, lakes, and forests, it is located not far from Berlin. Also, very close, you will find the water park of Tropical Island at the edge of the nature reserve Dahme-Heidsee. Matson offers impressive landscape and most comfortable dwelling. Lake Motzen is well known to be the cleanest lake in Brandenburg. One may visit the beach, take a trip by boat, or enjoy fishing. Furthermore, it offers a well-established golf club and excellent infrastructure. All needed utility services are at present here or in the surrounding, just like the renowned Frontane Clinic, a tourism office, a museum of local history, healthcare and grocery facilities, as well as kindergartens and schools. Public buses can be reached in just 300 meters. The highway connection can be reached by car in 5, ambulance in 10 minutes. A sophisticated residential area with 1.5-story houses complying to the latest technical standards are planned. That was it for the German property news again. My name is Ike Fast, and I would love to see you back here again next week.